last game. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, we're live. Welcome. Is everybody here? Is Pillow here? Yes, he is. Wonderful.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, why are we on the server? That's why. Yes, we're the casting crew.
Hold my hand.
No.
Come on, hold my hand.
Give me those glasses and I'll do it.
They're permanently attached to my face.
Okay.
It was a procedure.
So, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed the finished project. We are joined by Frosty and Shadow, Skilled, Raph, and there's Pillow. So, Frosty played Jacob. You have been playing Jacob since Siege, I believe was the first one you were in.
Yes.
And then The Remnant, and then Tribunal, and now we're continuing Jacob's story from Tribunal to Volition in chapter 3. And then we have Shadow, who joined us in the Tribunal as Olenna, the daughter of Roland the Smith. And she had a quite unpleasant ending in the Tribunal when she lost her father to Diano and Oscar. And I guess now we see what has happened with Jacob and Olenna those 5 years since the Tribunal. And this script was written by Dominic, aka Pillow, over here.
Yo.
Who wrote chapter 3 and 4.
Look at that face.
Right, here's down there.
Slade.
That's the face. That's the face of a man that can write.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the emotion.
Everything you've ever said was because of me.
It's like staring into the void.
So yeah, I think. Wait, you didn't write Siege though, right? Or did you?
No, I didn't write Siege.
Okay. Yeah,
Aha!
but. Okay.
But to be fair, Siege was written in like a day, and it was you and me in a Discord call together. So
I think I was also randomly created in Siege.
No, yeah. So the Remnant was written before Siege, and we just decided to do that one first.
Oh.
So Pillow created you.
Yes.
Oh.
You can call me Dad.
I'm your son, Daddy?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I found him.
Okay.
This is it. You're not getting any child support.
Shit.
Oh god, he just spent all his money on the RAF server too.
I just spent, and I didn't even get to use it.
Wait, can you do it now?
I could.
Yo, unboxing screen.
I
Can
don't know if I have the keys yet though. They didn't show up
lobby.
before. Yeah, I have to do it in the lobby.
Okay. Well, can you go to the lobby while we do this?
I was
Right now.
Okay.
see if I have keys.
Okay. So while they do that,
I still
we
don't
can...
have the keys.
Okay, Frosty, you just
That's right.
do your thing with the RAF, and we continue here. We'll talk to Shadow for a little bit. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty excited. I finally got this chapter out after like 6 months of a lot of work and procrastination.
It was beautifully done.
Thank you. Hoping to get chapter 4 and 5. Okay, 5 is going to take forever. I know that already. But 4 I hope to get out soon.
Let's go.
And you already recorded everything. That's yeah, that's something I wanted to talk to you about. Like because I hear this from every director that like works with you, is your efficiency in giving lines and doing them well.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you do it?
So it just honestly, you guys just catch me at like the perfect time.
Oh.
Like I'll be just like sitting down doing nothing in like that exact moment, and I'll just be like, okay, I'll just do it now.
I'll just do it right now. Like some people will be like, I need to schedule this. I need to set up like a day, and like it needs to work perfectly. But you're like, nah, I'll do it right now. But so how long do you spend on your lines then? Because you gave me like 10 takes, I think, of like each line.
Typically, I mean, it used to be like, oh, I'd spend like hours and hours and hours on stuff, but I've gotten pretty quickly at like doing it efficiently. So it's kind of like as time went on, I got to be able to learn how to do it quicker. So I think maybe like, I think for the Elena lines for like episode 4 or 5, like, maybe like 30 minutes.
Oh damn. So you're just.
I'd say it.
Do you spend time like reading the description and all that to like figure out what the hell is going on in the scene, or like do you just feel out the lines and just give whatever takes?
Probably both. I mean, for the most part, like if I'm like really lost and I got no idea what's going on, I'm like, okay, let me just like read over the scene a couple of times. But sometimes I'm like, okay, I know exactly what we're doing right now.
Okay. Do you spend time, or do you rely on director's direction, or do you spend time working on a voice to make that character unique from other characters you play, or do you go for like a recognizable thing and it's effective?
I'd probably say like the most like recognizable thing is sarcasm when it comes to like my stuff, because like I'm very sarcastic and that like really comes out in a lot of my characters. And so I think that's like in a lot of my characters is just pure sarcasm. But if it's like someone that's like, no, they're stoic, they don't have any sarcasm.
So
okay,
they gotta tell you not to be sarcastic, basically.
Yeah, I'll be like, okay, what's the character's personality? And they're like, it's stoic, they're serious. I'm like, okay, so no sarcasm. Like, no sarcasm. I'm like, okay, I won't do sarcasm.
I was gonna say the sarcasm on Olena was like boosted up on this chapter. What was the line again? Like, yeah, like I just remember you saying it that way. It's like,
I think it's the one to Jacob where she was like, I don't know the line, but I think it's like when they're talking to.
Oh yeah, and my father
there's,
crippled
like-
half of your forces or something like that. So it
Yeah,
is a
that
sassy
one, when they're
line,
talking
so it
about
makes
me.
sense.
Yeah.
So how's the unboxing going, Frosty and Raph?
I got an epic.
Oh damn.
I have no idea what any of this stuff. I think it was an effect though, which is.
Are you good to come back?
I got one more. One
Okay.
sec.
They're just over there unboxing. It's
I
all
bought
good.
10 for $3. It was worth it.
Oh, we got. I'm looking at my documents. I'm looking in chat. Give me 1 second.
Boom.
What is everyone's favorite lines from the series that have been shown so far? Well, I guess we can start with Shadow. Do you have a favorite line?
Yeah, my favorite line is probably the one that we just saw.
Yeah, well,
when
the one where
she,
you go ham on Oscar, like
I
completely
call him a pig.
roasted. Got you like a duggered pig. I think
that was probably my favorite line.
I think I had to like get a snippet of that recording and send it to the producers once I first heard it, just so they could witness your unfiltered rage.
I love it when I just have like a line that's just rage, and I can just say whatever I want. Not really whatever I want, but like in whatever like way.
Frosty, do you have a favorite line?
Probably when I'm talking to,
Oh, I know
the
you
kid.
had. I know you.
And
You really enjoyed a scene that we recorded for chapter 4.
Yeah.
You had fun with that
Yeah,
one. I
really,
remember.
really enjoyed it. It's
Well,
so
we can
much
talk
fun.
about that one. But okay, so the scene with Martin then is when. You
Yeah,
like
probably because you get to talk about the Ravagers, and it's like Jacob finally getting kind of like excited about something. It's like, oh, someone knows something about like
that. They know about me. They know about my.
they know about me. It's not like a soldier trying to kill me. You know,
Mhm.
he's kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
So it's a cool little scene. I like that.
Raph, do you have a favorite line?
Maybe a bit unoriginal, but I'm also gonna say Olena's screaming line is amazing. It's so good.
Ever. That's like a standout in this chapter. It's just that moment.
Just pure rage.
I didn't expect it to get so violent.
I like getting violent.
Okay. Well, Lord Skill, can you write down if you have any favorite lines? And then while he does that, Dominic, do you have like a moment, like a favorite line you have written or?
Well, okay, so for this chapter, I'd say surprise favorite line. It wasn't. I didn't care much for it when I was writing it, but the delivery, pretty much. What is it? When the tribunal counselor in the prologue, before the in the 5 years before, when he tells Charlie to calm down, that was all just the actor that we ended up getting for that counselor, playing just such a small role, but like he put his all into it, and it was a good performance, and I think the performance sold the line for me.
Yeah, he does really well, and I can say that he also voices 2 characters in Volition. He's just that good that we like. He can do both, so he's like a very talented voice actor, and like excited to be working with him. And Skilt had the same as Raph, so I guess Olena's rage wins this round. I think I would have to. I would have to say the same. Unless I'm trying to think, is there like a chapter 2 line or something? Because I feel like there's an Aaron line there somewhere that is like really good. But anyways, thank you for the question, Danilo. We can move on. So, Frosty.
Ooh, yes.
Jacob. He has changed a little bit the last 5 years, you could say, or like he's kind of forced to change, having to step up and stand on his own in a way. What is like your take on his like change from we last saw him?
It's always fun, like getting to like read the next script for when I get to like get along in the story, because Jacob always changes. Because he started out. It's so funny because I literally described it when I first started voicing him as a simp. He was he was a simp for Jed. Yeah, and now he's just like he's completely evolved into like his own. He is a leader now, and so it's so fun to go through, and always like next time I get to read him, see how much he's like grown. It's like I get to kind of grow with him. It's fun.
He kind of had a similar journey as Aaron, so to say, where he's like starting a little bit in the background. But I guess like I say the change for Jacob is a lot bigger, from like the careful medic who like strongly follows Jed to like now this independent leader, and like with respect and tactic, and yeah.
I mean, yeah, he had such a drastic change if you really think about it. He goes from a small little medic of a unit, and it's like they're driven away, and now he has to become like this person for people to look up to and follow his command.
So we had him like, he was very careful in the background and simping for Jed in Siege. That carried over to Remnant, and then in Remnant he got his heart broken when Jed turned into a baddie. And
yeah, he was a little sketched. He was getting a little sketched out, but he was still like on the Jed train.
And then when Aaron and Dalton defeated Jed, he was like, yeah, okay, I'm with Aaron now. Aaron is my boy. They became boy. Like, I guess they're gonna do this together. They're gonna step up and do this together, kind of thing, after Remnant. And in Tribunal, they got completely fucked over by the Tribunal. And then they had to like he had to step into his own there too, but I was like inexperience, I'd say, which kind of got him, and from that he gained experience, and we're here in Volition, where he's like now more capable, I'd say. What is your take on that, Dominic, who has been writing this character over the years?
I mean, yeah, he's been one of the most he's been one of the most purposeful characters in terms of his development throughout the series. I feel like every film that he's in, I always advocate for Jacob to have a very distinct arc. Like, he's never the same character at the start of whatever he's in to the end of it, which I love. This is why I love his character. He's my favorite character in like this whole Tribunal timeline. I love Jacob so much. and the way that he changes is so strong. We see again the small thing. One thing I'll touch on in this script is we see him being handed the golden sword by Charlie, which was a weapon that he looked up to as a Ravager, because that was the symbol of the Ravagers for a long time, the symbol of their leader. And now we see, a character that if you look at him in Remnant, or in Siege rather, you would have never suspected that he would become a wielder of this blade. That's like this ancient calling of like people that have this leadership potential can wield this blade, sort of like our Mjolnir. It's like you have to be worthy to touch it almost. And even now, when he's grown so much into a leader, he still is sort of hesitant in this chapter to actually take the sword, but he does. And like Charlie makes the comment like, "Oh, it suits you," which is, it's important for the character to see that growth and see who he's become. And I love seeing Jacob's growth, and that's like Frosty's done a great job playing the character.
Do you know one of my favorite parts of his growth from this episode would be like he starts off becoming a leader of like more the remnants of the Ravagers, right? And like what's left, like he kind of is there helping as a leader, and then everything kind of falls apart, and after the tribunal and stuff. And so he decides him and Elena go and they make this huge mercenary group, right? Become really like this really strong mercenary group, and it's really him making his own. Kind of like he becomes a leader in his own. It's not something that was handed. He had to become the leader of. It's something he built up, and it really shows his growth, I think, as a character as well.
For sure.
And then he hasn't been doing this alone. Olena has been there with him since the very tragic ending in Tribunal. How do you because Olena has gone from commander of the army of Olander, like the biggest political force in the continent, to now being like this rebel kind of like outlaw, working with this previous Ravager who is also outlawed. And like, how do you feel about her journey, like where she is and what she's gone through?
I think her dad's death definitely took a big push into her kind of finding more of herself, and like the big time jump of her and like Jacob moving on and being more like less of like the whole entire like what's the word like more less of a commander of like an army, more of like she relies on Jacob more, like she's allowed herself to rely on other people than just herself, and like taking the responsibility of everything on her shoulders, and just like allowing her to relax and be more open to others and stuff like that, even though she's still very hostile.
Yeah, clearly. Like because like not only does she needs to like control herself when on the mission, but she has to deal with Oscar. Not only did he betray her, he was like the closest working partner she had in the army, and then he just it was revealed he was working for the Tribunal all along, and then he ends up being the one who does the killing blow to her father, and now she has to be there and quote unquote protect him, which we clearly see that doesn't last long, as they like butt heads like straight away as the train starts rolling. So, do you think? No, wait. You have done the lines. I was gonna ask a question. What you think would happen, but we can't do that.
I don't know.
I'm so excited for the next episode.
I guess you'll have to see.
Yeah, as it is like a part 1 and part 2, it's gonna be a lot more climatic in the fourth one. But yeah, I'm very happy how chapter 3 turns out after all this time. So Pillow, what was your thought process when working on chapter 3 in particular?
My thought process?
Yes.
What I knew going into chapter 3 was that we needed a story involving a train hijacking that a runaway train that is headed towards the capital city. And we had like at the very start of writing it, I don't even think we really knew which characters were going to be involved. Like originally when we started, it was like Aaron and like all of the characters were supposed to come to the train, and then it was supposed to be like this big thing at the train. And we realized like this already we've had trouble filming in this part with just like how much space there is. So adding like 3 or 4 like major characters to it would have been insane. So
the train would have to been bigger.
Yeah. So lots of challenges as a writer in terms of writing a story, like an action-packed story, like a surprisingly high-octane action-packed story in such a closed, confined space is challenging. And then, of course, that translates over into the filming process, because even a lot of things that I wrote didn't make it into the film because of
difficulties.
The difficulties we have with the medium and with just the size of the space that we have. But we're going to see a lot more of those challenges in the next part, where we see more of the high octane, high action stuff.
There's one thing in chapter 4
I'm getting a gun
that I know is gonna be a pain in the ass to do. Yeah, you probably know what that is because my god,
I'm gonna get a lightsaber. Is what they're talking about.
Yes,
yes.
What happens.
I wish that would have been
becomes
easy.
a Jedi.
Dude, a lightsaber would be easy. I'd take a lightsaber any day.
Jacob becomes a Jedi, but then he becomes really corrupt with the power and starts beheading everyone and becomes a Sith.
You would say that you guys are kind of like Jedis in this chapter. You kind of act like that. Mercenary Jedis.
More like Mandalorians.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
Kick
I
your
guess.
butt.
Exactly. Cutting up Oscars. And yeah.
That chair throw was awesome, by the way. I wasn't ready for that when that scene popped. I was like, oh,
I think I improvised that. I don't think that was in the
That
script.
whole scene is improvised.
Yeah, because I had to change how that went, so I had to improvise it on how it. Yeah, so it started with the chair, and then he had to hold it, and then running until she gets shot. So. God damn it! I was okay. So Dominic, you introduced a new character, huh?
2 questions in a row. Spicy.
Yeah. You wrote a new character in this chapter called Ramir. We have had Ramir in the works, lingering in TSC Studio for a while, and we finally we got him in finally.
That's a great question. It's not even really a question, it's just a statement. But
it's a statement.
I get to talk about that.
Yes. Can you talk about Ramir?
Yeah, that was like the first project that you brought me on to help write as part of the production team. What would right after the original series? What was that like 5 years ago? Maybe even more. I don't know.
I think we're after the original series is nearing 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I came on, we were working on a story about the pirates. We have a whole lore about this pirate faction that takes place in the past prior to any of the other stories that we've done. And we worked on it, and it went through 5 or 6 different iterations, and it just never came together. There's actually an old promo video, I think it's still on the channel, where you did a reveal, and it was in the reveal that we were making this film, and then we just never made it.
Wait, I actually made a promo for it?
Yeah, you made a promo where you these are the next projects, and it was Crimes of Valorian, the Pirate Princess, what it was called, and a bunch of other stuff. When none of this tribunal stuff was a thing. And anyways, the protagonist of this Pirate Princess story was this Ramir character, who is, and a lot of his character, and inserted him into this timeline as essentially this old veteran Apollonian warrior that he he starts as he was like a king's guard who ends up having to save a princess, and it's very, very typical fantasy. Like he has to go and save this princess from the pirates that have kidnapped him, and there's this whole story about it, and yeah, so he was an interesting character. I always loved the character, and I'm glad that we've managed to find a way to put an older version of him into the world, which makes it mean that in my mind, my headcanon still exists, that all the things that we wrote but never filmed actually did happen in the world.
I mean, haven't we kind of done it so that the Pirate Princess lore is still canon? It happened. We just haven't made it.
Yeah, we just never actually sat down and wrote a script that made sense.
Yeah. Dude, like that's something I can speak about this project too. Like Volition, it's been one of the hardest projects to develop story-wise I've ever had to work on. Like we had like maybe like 6 different versions of an outline to how this would go, to like actually do an ending to this. That Tribunal was supposed to be that, but then that became like half the story, and then we were gonna do Tribunal Part 2, which then turned into Volition, which then got split up into like 5 parts. Oh, so it's been difficult, but
sounds about right.
Happy to have Ramir finally introduced and played by My Style, who did a wonderful job. Dominic, did you have any questions for Frosty?
I sent them in Discord to you if you want to read them, or I can just ask them.
Yeah, you can just ask them. That's why I asked you.
Okay. Yeah, so I got one for Frosty, one for Shadow.
Yeah.
So Frosty, we've kind of already touched on it, but just generally when we picked you up to play Jacob for Siege back like over 3 years ago now, did you think you'd still be playing the character now, and that he would become sort of one of the more complex lead characters of our story? Like, was that something you thought was going to happen? Can you talk about that a little bit?
So when I first started playing Jacob, I knew I didn't think it would be to this extent how big he would like become as a character. I expected him to be more like side character-ish when I first started playing him, and then like the more and more I would get scripts here and there, I just saw him get his lines grow and grow. And I saw his character growing, and the minute I saw like all the character growth he was getting each time, I would be like, it just certified to me. I was like, oh, so he's gonna become something bigger. Like he's gonna become a character that's gonna do something. And so it's been fun. I've been enjoying it. I love to voice act, so whenever I get a chance to do like a character like that, I get excited. And I don't do it for like the money and stuff, so I don't do a ton of projects and stuff. So when I get the chance to do something fun, I'm always interested.
Well, I'm glad we've kept you around. It's definitely hard to have characters like this that last so long, because of a lot of reasons, a lot of like voice actor fatigue. Some people just like sort of, I guess, age out of it. Like they do it and they realize that it's not something they want to do, or other commitments come up and they can't continue on playing the character. So like the whole team is grateful that we've managed to keep you around and keep playing the character and keep doing such a good job, because again, like you're one of the best. Like you're doing fantastic.
Thanks, man. I'm enjoying it. Having a great time.
And Shadow,
Hi.
again, we've already sort of touched on all these. I have a question for both of you after, but just for you, Shadow specifically, Olenna in this chapter has some intense scenes like we talked about with the screaming match, and she also has some softer moments with Jacob. As a voice actress, is there one that you've sort of already answered this, but is there one that you prefer over the other? Do you like doing the loud, intense scenes, or do you like something more nuanced and subtle, more emotionally driven?
I guess it depends, because I think both of them are very necessary when like establishing a character's like backstory and or like their personality. I do love to do the really loud and like angry scenes, but to have like an emotional moment with another character really, I feel, builds like their friendship or their relationship. So I think doing like emotional scenes or like doing like very like personalized scenes are I do like a lot better for just the reason of like that growing like relationship.
I love that.
Okay. Before you do another question,
Yeah.
I want to just introduce. Come on, join. Oh God, my timing was terrible. Come on, my style. Join us.
Get off the stage.
Join.
Stand up.
My style.
He's just sitting there with his hand in the air. He's like waiting for it.
There's now a speaker. Wonderful. Hey, my style.
Howdy, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Go.
Hi.
Welcome. So
I'm so
excited to
glad I
have
can
you here.
make it. This is my first time doing something like this, so howdy, fellas.
Hey.
Hi.
So glad you could make it. I hope we didn't stress you too much from your work and all that.
No, you're all good.
Okay.
It's just praising your character for
Yeah.
like 15 minutes.
Yeah, we were just talking about.
I'm so glad you liked it.
You-
I haven't watched the full thing yet, but from what I've seen, I love the episode.
Yeah, and you did an amazing job too. Thank you so much for joining. You really helped us because we lost the voice
Oh,
actor.
thank
I
you.
remember, and then we're like, "Oh shit, we need to get a voice actor for this." Oh no, shit, we don't have time. And then I remember I messaged Ray, and he was like, "There was like only like one option," and he's like, "My style."
I'm so glad I was able to play Ramir. He's awesome.
Yeah, so let me just rewind a little bit just for you. So we were talking about Ramir having been like a character that we have been working on for like a long time. He was like in some other old projects, and like we finally got to do him in this one. And it's also been like a character that Pillow here has been like hoping to get done in a long time because he created the character. And
Yeah.
so we're super excited to have Ramir, and we're super excited to have you voice the character. You did such a wonderful job. And why don't you just talk a little bit about how was your experience working on it, or how do you feel about the character?
Honestly, it was in a moment of trying to get a brand new mic. So I was still in the voice acting scene, but I didn't expect to get any roles. And then I got hit up and I was like, wait, this guy seems actually so cool. And then I got the part, like I joined along and I read the script and it was just like, wow, chef's kiss. I loved it. And
Okay, we
then-
don't need to talk about the script. It's okay.
And then we got to recording and
Yeah.
through the voice test, it was just like it only took a few tries until I was like, oh my god, wait, this is how he sounds like, and he's gonna be a badass while doing it.
Yeah.
So it's just like I wanted to say I took a little inspiration from like a Keith David point of view, but I also like took my own spin on it. So I don't really know how to voice it, but there was definitely some inspiration drawn somewhere. But I loved voicing Ramir. He was and just like some of his scenes were so cool.
Yeah, and you got to
Just
yell at
seeing
these
such
two.
a powerful man like starting, this is like a guy who's like, okay, I want to be nice, but come on, guys, let's be nice here. But
Yeah.
you just can't help but be a badass sometimes.
He really tried to keep it together, but once the shit broke loose, I guess he
Oh,
was
yeah.
loose to kind of be loose then too, with his like attitude and his fighting and like.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of like about him too. He's that older character that is like done with like bullshit and all that kind of stuff, and can kick ass if he needs to. Because
It reminds me of like a not an overprotective dad, but like one of those dads that are like, yeah, do whatever, but do it smart.
Yeah, I can see it. Do you agree, Pilla? You came up with the character.
It's like, when I was writing the script, definitely had it on my mind that he is sort of like the patriarchal character in this specific environment. Like he's always like this sort of father figure, like strong, like voice of reason. You know, the idea of like the old soldier, right? He can be violent when he needs to, but he prefers to be soft and gentle, which is why I really like the scene that he has at the start with Martin, where, because, you know, he's introduced and he's sort of this big, puffed up chest sort of political figure, but then we see him, like, get down on his knees and, like, talk to this kid and, like, support him and be, like, you know, that fatherly sort of vibe, which I like about the character a lot.
I agree.
Okay. Did you have a question for all the VAs?
Yes. So I have a question that can be asked to everyone, like, individually. They can just go down the line and answer it. So I don't know if you guys have read all the way. I don't know have they read chapter 5 yet?
No. I think
okay, cool.
I don't remember if I sent you the script, Shadow, for chapter 5 yet.
Okay.
Let me check.
Yeah, probably not. If you don't remember, it doesn't matter.
Anyways, it's better if you don't.
Yes, not
the
chapter
question.
5.
Yeah, the question for all of the voice actors is just, essentially, if you could choose, how, like, the ending for your character for this tribunal storyline, what would it be? What do you like? Do you want your character to have like a happy ending where they go off and live in the woods, or is there anything that you think for your character personally, as the voice actor, as the person playing the character, how would you want their story to end?
Without spoiling chapter 4.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
We can start with Shadow.
Oh no.
The one person that said, "Oh God."
Exactly.
Let's start with them.
The first mistake was saying something.
Showing your fear was the first mistake here.
I showed my fear and it came to haunt me. I mean, without the knowledge, this is chapter 3 Shadow. So this is Shadow without a thought of chapter 4 and or the knowledge of chapter 5. If this happens to be like the end of Elena's story, possibly, again, I don't know, then I would hope that she does have a happy ending. Just at least, like, not like a family, a kid, blah blah blah. Like, just more so of like she's just content with her life. Like, again, her father's death still really haunts her. She's a lot of anger issues, as we see. But I think that, like, if she's just more so content with her life, it'll just be like a better ending. Like, it'll be a better ending than like being like, oh, she's married and has kids. Like, it's just like, as long as she's content with her life, I'm happy with her, her living, because she was supposed to die, if I'm correct, in Tribunal. She was supposed to die, and I was like, oh, okay, goodbye, Elena. And then I got a text, and they were like, oh no, she's still alive, because everybody liked her. I was like, oh my gosh, she's still alive. Okay. So if she happens to survive towards the end, I'd be happy with her just being content with her life.
I completely forgot that we were supposed to kill her up.
Yeah, she was gonna die.
You're gonna die.
I gotta be honest with you. We were watching, and as we were watching, she first showed up, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, wasn't she dead?
Yeah. She's supposed, like, her death was like the end of the tribunal. So it was like
I thought she was supposed to be dead. I was like so confused.
I mean, the way Tribunal was set up at the end there is like she could have died, but no.
Oh, yeah, which is so funny because I just remember getting the text of being like, "Oh yeah, she died. Like, she's gonna die," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "All right." And then I got the text. It was like, "No, she's gonna live." I was like, "Oh."
It's like a roller coaster going on her. She's gonna die. She's gonna live.
It's just a back and forth, and I was like, "Oh yeah, does she die?" And then they're like, "Oh no, they're
everybody asking the same question when they saw chapter 3. Like, what?
I was like, huh? I lived? Okay.
I'm fine with that.
But
You're a
I'm
flesh
so
wound.
I'm so happy though that we didn't kill her off, because like honestly it's so nice working with you, Shadow, and seeing the characters together. I think it's really fun. I think Jacob and Olen are a really good duo, and yeah, I think they're very cool in their desert gear that they geared up for Ramir to do the
Burger's
job.
finally cooled his head on killing characters off.
Oh, it's not over yet, Frosty.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay,
I have main character on me, but in his universe that means death.
okay. So what do you think Frosty is gonna happen to your character?
I don't know. At this point, you're such a horrid man. You might like, cripple me for life.
You never know.
I end up as like running an orphanage in a wheelchair. Is that what's gonna happen?
Is that what you want to happen?
No.
This is your fairy tale ending. This isn't what you necessarily think is gonna happen.
Fairy
What
tale
do you
ending.
want for Jacob?
I want him to finally like feel that he's become like the man he wants to be. Like he's so constantly like worried he's not living up to these people he looks up to, and that he's not somebody that's capable of leading others. And he still doubts himself, even with the skills he's obtained. He still doubts himself quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good
And so
answer.
I'd like to see him like be completely content with that, and like just move on with thinking he has to compare himself to the people he looks up to.
Aw.
That's what I
nice.
want the end of Jacob to be.
That makes me happy to hear that, because it really sounds like you care about Jacob, and that's always nice to hear. Okay.
Yeah, I like seeing characters evolve.
My style. You haven't voiced Ramir for that long or gotten to get to know the character that well, but it seems like you have an idea and you're getting into it. And so, what would you like for to happen with the character?
Give this man a damn train ride that doesn't go bad.
Just give him a little toy
I
train.
I feel like my head canon, he has a little special thing for trains. So just like let him have it.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I haven't really known and gotten to know Ramir as deep as a level as my coworkers here, you know, like they've gotten to know their character a lot deeper. But from what I know from him, he just wants to be successful enough to like impress people around him, and I just want that for him. I mean, the first thing he goes and shows off becomes a murder train. So I mean, just give him something good.
I think trains might haunt him after this.
I mean, he might have trauma. Like
Yeah.
all his special interest for trains is long gone.
Poor guy. No more hobbies. Okay, so I completely lost my train of thought. We have gone through all the actors now. Raph, I want to talk to you a little bit about hosting these events. By the way, thank you so much for all the time and effort you go through to do this. The minigames are so much fun. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I rolled an epic.
Honestly, a pleasure.
And honestly, like I was surprised when I saw that opening with the music and the text and introducing all the players, and like it was made it like feel so special in the beginning. So yeah, thank you so much. So what do you feel about hosting these events for like these machinimas and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm still a producer in TSC, so I want to be involved as much as I can in anything and to promote the project. And then I was like, I mean, when we still first started, I didn't really do this kind of stuff with anyone, so I think TSC was the first people we did it with. And I kind of just saw it as like a natural fit that you guys were hosting kind of like little mini games events before your premieres, and I had my own server, so I was like, well, I might as well use this as something that we can kind of develop together going forwards. so then it kind of just started, and now we do it every single time, and it's honestly so much fun. And I think it kind of brings like two communities together, and hopefully that means we can have like your viewers and my players kind of overlap and make new friends, and it's always really fun. And then also it's just, I don't know if everyone thinks that as well, but it's so exciting to walk through a set and then see it on the screen, and like you're like, oh, I've been there for myself. I don't know, it's just really cool.
Yeah, we were like playing minigames on that train today.
The
which
whole
makes it-
time those fucking scenes were going, everyone was like,
Capture
it's
the
like, oh my
cart!
God, they're taking the cart, they're taking the fight.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what makes it special, I think, that we can interact with the sets before watching.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Also, like something special, I think, when somebody said earlier that this feels like Christmas. Like, yeah, we all come together for these like events, and like it happens every now and then, and it's like so much fun and nice, and everybody has good memories from
Every
it.
6 months, baby.
Oh no, no, no! I'm not gonna take that long again. I promise. I hope. I beg.
Yeah, next one's coming out next week, fellas.
Hey,
That
like,
is the
Chap-
whole week.
chapter
Wow.
2 took me like a month to do, so I don't
Wow.
get it. Yeah, but I also had like a lot of moving and stuff like that.
It was
Finishing
COVID.
school. No, it wasn't COVID. COVID was long gone.
Let's just blame it on COVID. No,
Yeah. Okay, but I think it's
Yeah.
time we round this off. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm so happy you managed to join us in time, my style. And I hope I can have you guys for this next time too, when we release chapter 4. And what was that called again, Pillow? What is chapter 4 called? The Rebel?
Yeah, the Rebel.
Yeah, it's
Your
called-
mom's house.
Yes, chapter
Mom's
4, The Rebel, coming in a while. Okay, thank you guys for